You are listening to Plantastic Events Podcast, episode number 005. Hey everyone, welcome to Plantastic Events. I'm your host, Noshin Punjani. This is a weekly podcast dedicated to help you plan your events with ease. Be sure to subscribe at stewjat.com and stay up to date. That's stewjat.com. Plus, you'll receive tons of resources, freebies, guides, and show notes. Thank you for joining, and now let's get into the show. Hi everyone, I'm your host, Noshin Punjani. Today I have two special guest speakers, Sadiq and Suleman. Sadiq is the head of SEO at SunTrust. He has also worked for the Home Depot and in the wholesale industry. He specializes in PPC, or pay per click, and SEO, or search engine optimization. Suleman is also a guest speaker, and he specializes in SEM, search engine marketing, as well as PPC, and he is currently with Dex YP, which used to be just YP. Both also have a consulting agency that helps startups with all their search engine marketing needs. They're not only my brothers, but they are my mentors in life. I look up to them, and they have helped me out every step of the way with my startup, and I truly cannot be thankful for that. Thankful enough for that. Thank you so much for joining me on this show today, and I think this would benefit a lot of our listeners that are listening out there to hear what you have to say. So my first question to both of you is, how are you doing today? I'll start with Sadiq.
First of all, thank you, Notion, for such a good introduction. I am doing well. Did have cold, so you might see me cough here and there.
That's
but
all right.
Otherwise, I'm good.
Awesome. Suleman.
Well, I'm doing great, and thank you so much for inviting us to Plantastic event, and thank you for very good comments about me and Sadiq, and I'm very glad to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask to the both of you, what inspired you to start a career in SEO and SEM?
I'll be frank here. My first job after I graduated was in marketing. Actually, it was analytics, and I used to build reports for the executive team on site traffic, conversions, and number of raw leads. And it was a comprehensive report because back then we had more than Google, Bing, Yahoo like we currently do. If you guys remember, a few of them might remember Lycos, Alta Vista, Overturing to Me, Canoodle, FindWhat, Miva, AskJeeves, etc., etc.
Awesome.
And when I provided this report, SLT or the senior leadership team wanted to get context behind those numbers in the report, and I started providing why the traffic increased, why did the paid search conversion went down. And I started getting into SEO and search engine marketing, or PPC.
Cool. Awesome. What about you, Suleman?
The SEM industry, I joined in when I worked with Sadiq, and he brought me into this industry, so I really thank you for that. And the main thing is that search engine marketing work keeps me highly engaged every day with industry, working with different type of business like service industry and e-commerce, creating ads, keywords, and client focus and overall performance, keeping the KPI target, keeps me very highly engaged every day to day, and it helps me to keep in very good content with all the clients and everything.
Cool. Okay. So I know there are a lot of technical terms being thrown out there, and someone is going to come back and ask me, why didn't I explain any of that? So I want to ask you one basic question. Can you tell me the difference, and this is coming also from my standpoint too, what is the difference between SEM, SEO, and PPC?
I'm going to start off with the SEM. SEM stands for Search Engine Marketing. It's the marketing is overall umbrella that covers both paid ads and free organic ads. And PPC stands for pay per click. is where advertiser pays for each clicks on Google search engine, Bing search engine, and Yahoo search engine for the advertiser ads. The advertiser pays only when someone actually clicks on paid ads. And I will let Sadiq explain the SEO platform.
Sure. First of all, I do not want to be an arrogant here, but my big brother over here mentioned organic ads. So organic is free, so it's not necessarily an ad. It is free. And SEO, search engine optimization, is free, technically free, and I'll tell you why it's technically free. It's basically traffic coming from search engines where you don't have to pay. So it's not an ad per se, but it's not necessarily free because you do have to optimize your site. There is work involved. There is dev-related resources that get tied up to implement some of the SEO things. And when I say SEO, organic, natural search, free traffic, they're all the same things. A few people, Adobe reportings call it natural search. Few people call it SEO. It depends on what your company conventions are, and they are all the same things. Hopefully, I've given the definition of SEO, and I was very clear about it.
Yeah, no, that was actually very helpful. So terminologies can vary based on different companies, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be company. I mean, I think it's pretty much now a de facto standard. When people say SEO, they mean natural search, and when they say natural search, they mean organic traffic. When they mean organic traffic, they mean SEO. It's
It's so confusing sometimes, don't you think?
It could if you're not in the digital marketing industry or area. But I think people are getting used to it. They are getting used to the terminology. From time to time, I do hear senior leadership team telling, "Hey, I thought you were doing SEO, but why are you reporting on natural search traffic?"
Right.
So I tell them it's the same thing.
Okay, all right. That gives me some clarity too. Suleman, do you have anything to add to that?
Sadiq cleared the SEO part, and SEM is the paid ads, and anything that you want to advertise on Google, Bing, and Yahoo, and pay to the Google engine or the Yahoo engine or Bing engine, that's SEM.
So it's a separate paid piece
Yes,
of it.
those are
Okay.
the top 4 ads on
Gotcha.
search engine, which shows are the top 4 ads on the.
Does search engine marketing also include the paid piece of it? Does that also include like Facebook or any of those, or is that am I thinking something completely differently?
The Facebook is a whole different platform.
Okay, gotcha.
So Google search is a different platform.
Okay.
And Facebook also has its own paid ads as Google has. So those both are different platform, and you could advertise on both platform.
And in the industry, any social media advertising is known as managed social media.
Managed social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
So managed is when you see that in a reporting, that is paid advertising. And when you hear organic social media, that's free, or I guess social media SEO SEO traffic, or free social traffic from social media.
Okay.
So there are two line items you would see in report: managed social media and organic social media.
Okay. So in all of this process, I'm sure the importance really relies on the right keywords, or having good keywords, especially for like upcoming events and stuff, especially I guess in for our attendees and our participants and everyone else that's listening out there. What kind of advice can you give on having the right keywords for their organic search or for their paid searches? What would you say?
I can start over here.
Sure.
Keyword research is very important, first of all. But even more important is your foundational and technical items. And from SEO standpoint, technical SEO is very important. That is, making sure your robots.txt is not blocking Google bots
What's
from
robots.txt?
And I knew you were going to ask that question. It is basically a directive for search engines bot to tell them ahead of time what you're allowed to crawl on our site and what
Gotcha.
you're not allowed to crawl. I have seen many people block everything from bots to crawl. Or I've seen even smart people add time. How much can you hit our website? And ideally, I want Google to hit as many times as you can without breaking our site. They give you fraction of seconds when they come to your site, and I want them to use all of that time and hit me as many times and index every single pages.
Right.
I wish there was more time. I don't know if we have time, but maybe we could do in future an advanced SEO session, and I could go deep dive of those technical things. But coming back to your question about keyword and why I said technical is important, is because if you block people from or Google bot from seeing your site, then you're not going to be found on Google.
Right.
And if you're not going to be found on Google,
It's worthless.
it's worthless. What all that keyword optimization and keyword research is going to do when people cannot even find you for the keyword research? Now, having said that, if those things are done properly, keyword research is the second most important thing, because you want to optimize for those keywords that you are targeting. You want to do the research. If you don't do the research, you wouldn't know. And an example would be, I'm going to use a Home Depot example because it's an easy one. Snow blower versus snow thrower. We used to use something called snow thrower. Well, you know what? What do you think most people used to look on Google search? Would it be snow blower or snow thrower?
Snow blower, I'm assuming. I would.
And that's what you'll find out. And apparently, when we did the research, we found out it's different from region to region.
Oh, okay.
So you may want to actually build both pages, but target those pages for different regions separately.
That's a
For
great
those
point.
keyword research terms, now you've captured your market share for that keyword research, provided you have all the other things working for you.
That is an awesome point. I'm going to have to keep that in mind to use and tell other folks too. Suleman, do you have anything to add on to that?
For SEM standpoint, the keywords are very important as well because they trigger your ads to show up on search engine. The keywords needs to be relevant with your ad and relevant to your website content. So making sure the keywords that you do research before you onboard them into your account to make sure those keywords are relevant to your business, to your website, to your ads. Because any keyword that you put in can affect your overall budget. Making sure the keywords are, what type of keywords they are they phrase match, exact match, or broad match?
What are those terminologies?
Phrase match is a close variation to your list of keyword.
What's closed variation?
Like example, if you have running shoes on sale, if that's your keyword, and if it's a phrase match, it can have, if somebody search for a red running shoes on sale, you will show up with the phrase match. And the exact match is they have to type in running shoes on sale only. If somebody types in red, it's not going to show up.
Gotcha. A whole phrase, pretty much, like
Yes.
from point A to point B. You have to have the whole thing in between.
Yes. So my favorites are phrase match and exact match. By default, the Google will put your keyword as a broad match.
What's a broad match?
Broad match can take your keyword and replace it with walking shoes. If you have a keyword called running shoes on sale and somebody types in walking shoes on sale,
They'll find running.
you will show up if it's broad match. And I wonder why do Google decides that? Because they want to get more traffic.
More traffic.
More clicks. So you have to be very smart when you pick keywords and what kind of match type you use for that type of keyword. So making sure your keywords are phrase match, exact match, or broad modified keywords. Broad modified keywords are keywords that you could have running shoes and you put a plus sign next to your keyword. And that running shoes has to be in the search query to show up.
Like concatenate something.
Like you could have running shoes on sale at this location. Now you have running shoes. Those two keywords triggered your
Gotcha.
keyword.
Okay.
Now you have a long tail keyword,
Yeah.
but it's showing up because you have broad modified keyword instead of broad match keyword. So you have to make sure which match do you pick, and make sure the keywords are relevant to your ads and to your account, and that will help overall the performance.
Okay. I didn't know about all of those things. Thank you for
And
sharing
mainly for
that.
the event planners, because you want to make sure people are searching for what kind of musical event is going to be on the weekend rather than some other type of musical for kids or something. So it has to be specific.
Oh. So for all you event planners out there, keep that in mind that all of those different things, you have to focus on your keywords, focusing on the different types. There are differences between the phrases, the whole phrases versus concatenated versions versus broad searches. Is that what you called it? Broad something?
Broad match is the one.
Broad match.
Is what Google default.
Gotcha.
If you don't select anything.
Okay. Do you prefer broad match?
Never. I mean, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Guess good thing I asked.
Yeah, I focus on phrase match and exact match and broad modified
Okay.
keywords.
Suleman, why would you not? Why? I mean, I get it. You made your point very clear when you said that Google wants to get the most clicks, most revenue out of keywords, so they are going to broad match everything. Why is that a bad idea? I mean, I've done enough adverts. I personally also agree with your opinion. The phrase and phrase match is probably good, and exact is probably even better. But for a small company or anyone, why would a broad match be a bad option? Because if I'm a person, I would think, I may not even thinking about keywords. Why not just do broad match and get ranked for every single keywords out there? The keywords, those are, broad but relevant.
Adding a broad match keyword is going to bring you a lot of traffic. The more traffic, the more click, the more money we'll spend. So you have to make sure when you add a broad match keywords, you got to keep checking your search query and start adding negative keywords to slow down the traffic and come to the point to specific keyword. So if you're not getting enough traffic, your account is not spending, you can test it and keep an eye on it, on that broad keyword, and keep adding negative keywords and try to get new keywords idea through your search query. But you have to be very careful, and you have to keep an eye on your budget, eye on the clicks, eye on the traffic.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. What about
Thank you.
What about competition? I think a lot of people come up to me and say, well, I don't really need to focus on my competition, especially around search engine marketing. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Can you share some best tools maybe to test out your keywords as well as the importance on focusing on your competition?
For SEM standpoint, the competition is very, very important.
Okay.
Because you have to know who are competing in the market and how much market share is being used by your competitor. Is your competitor is always on top? Is your competitor is taking 50 or 70% of the market share?
Okay.
And you only getting 30%? So you have to figure out the budget, the spend, and try to see how competitive your competitors are.
Right.
But then again, you have to focus on your close competitor rather than overall competitors, because some competitors
narrow
are
it
way
down.
too big.
Okay.
And you will never able to compete against them. But at least you have to know your close competitor and try to see the market and try to decide how you want to spend.
At that point in time. So at that
Yes.
point in time, focus on your closest competitors.
Rather
and
than
then
all the competitors, because you could
all
have somebody who's a big company and you're trying to go after them and you're going to keep spending money and try to come on top, but their budget, you have no idea how much
like
they're spending.
for us, we're
Yeah.
a startup. Our
Yes.
competitor, naturally, at least in the ticketing piece, we do a lot more. Our competitor would be Eventbrite, but we wouldn't obviously look at them, mostly because, first of all, they're much larger, and on top of it, they only focus on ticketing. So maybe down the road, at a different moment in time, perhaps that would be our point of interest, but not at this point of time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally agree.
And I agree with Suleman. You do not want to get into a bidding war. You want to do what is the best thing for your company, though you want to keep an eye on the competitors and how much they are spending, so you know exactly how you stack up against someone who is in the same stratosphere as you are.
Right.
But someone who's in a different stratosphere, it's not going to be possible to get the same amount of conversions or total raw leads or customers because you spend far less. And you know what? It's about optimizing your current spend. It's not about who's getting the most.
Right.
You have to work on your margins. That is the key. Otherwise, you'll be out quickly, and you'll just while getting out, you would be making Google richer.
I don't know about that. They're already pretty well off.
Yeah, but who's making them well off? It's
That's
the
true.
advertisers.
Very true.
And from SEO standpoint, the answer is, of course. I mean, you have to keep eyes on your competitors. I just cannot fathom anyone for any reason not keeping an eye on their competitors.
Right.
And speaking of tools, there are many tools. If you work for a large corporation and you have money to get the best tool, then there are few. SEO Clarity, Conductor, Stats, Bright Edge.
These are all tools, guys.
Yeah, these tools, they monitor your keyword ranking organically, how your keywords rank, the keywords that you are targeted, how are they ranking on a daily basis. You could do comparison on where they stand the next week versus last week, or next month versus last month. Not only that, but these tools allow you to, for those keywords that you're targeting, they'll tell you your competitors, how do they rank.
Right.
And it doesn't end over there. They will also give you alerts when you drop ranking for your important pages. They will let you know that, hey, you've dropped on Google. You went from position 4 to position
20.
7 or 20, or completely gone,
Right.
which tells you there was a penalty for your page and Google has no indexed your content.
Oh, man.
And you want to, at that point, dig in. But these tools are expensive. They can range in thousands of dollars per month. But they are the best tools out there. My favorite, and if someone hears this, competitors definitely going to come back and tell me, why did you say that? But I do love SEO Clarity.
SEO Clarity.
Yeah.
All right.
They do also provide keyword research tools where you could look at, how much your competitors are ranking for. I could say, where are my competitors ranking and I'm not ranking? So I could focus on those targeted keyword phrases. But I get it. Some people do not have that kind of budget, and they have limited budget. In that case, there are also tools, those are a little bit cheaper. These keyword tools are Moz, SEM Rush, SpyFu, Raven, Advanced Web Ranking. They could cost few $100 per year.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. And they will provide similar things, but not, as detailed and alerts like other tools give you, but still good enough for you to do that.
Right.
Now,
And Sadiq, my favorite one is the keyword planner, which is basically free.
yeah. So
I can work with free.
so Suleman just went to my next answer, and I was going to say, if you have no budget, and he beat me to my next answer. If you have no budget, so I went with, you have lots of budget to spend and you want to get the best. You have some budget and you want, something that is good, but, not too expensive. But if you have no budget, then you'll have to spend time. But there are free tools. One of them given by Suleman, which I do like, is provided by Google.
Cool.
Google Keyword
Okay.
Planner. But there are also other things you could do. I don't know if anyone has heard of Google Webmaster Tool. Now it's known as Google Search Console. It will tell
Sounds like
you.
a game.
Google Search Console, yes. It does sound like a game because you're thinking of console.
Console.
Yeah. But that is one of the best things. It'll tell you the search queries that are resulting in your impressions. So you could take a look at the search queries where you're getting an impression, but that impression could be like rank 10 or 11 or 12, and it tells you need to optimize that page for, because that could be your low-hanging fruit. If you could take a rank position 11 and move it to 10, that could be an exponential traffic. You move from page 2 to page 1 of Google, that's a good move by making little tweaks. And it's free, remember. There is limitation. Google does not give you, your selected time range. They have limited of, I think, 90 days of data. So what I do is each month I go in and I download the data and I archive. So I have year-over-year data. Also, Google Keyword Planner, which is free. You could look at your competition over there. Or how much PPC is worth. You could do manual searches and see who's showing up for your Google searches, who are your top competitors. In some cases, I realize when I'm targeting a keyword, I realize when I go and search on Google, I see all these competitors, and every one of them is like a top level competitors who are not in my stratosphere. They are beyond me. And you know what? No matter what I do, it is going to be very difficult to rank. So I focus on something that I have a room to take market share. And I ignore something that might be too broad.
Some like delta of novelty almost.
Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult for a small company who are very limited in budget. And in that case, you may have to ignore that you think this is a keyword I want to rank for. And then you look at the competitor, you're like, let me focus on something that I can win. And then slowly build out, and then start going after a mid-level keyword. And then once you're in the same stratosphere, you could start competing with those top
That is so
top
cool.
competitors.
That is very jam-packed information. I think we may need to have a couple of rounds.
You could see I'm passionate about business, making revenue, making sure SEO is working. So yeah, sorry if I go on and go on.
It's wonderful. I think they'll probably definitely be around too as a follow-up to have you guys again. But I did want to follow up with the last couple of questions too. So I'm assuming these are tips on how to rank higher on like search engines such as Google or Bing. I don't like Bing, but there are other things. I'll let you speak to that though.
The Bing has changed a lot compared to before. Bing has adopted to the changes, and
Suleman defending Bing.
I noticed.
Yeah.
I bet 90% of his spend is on Google.
We can talk about that later, but the Bing has changed a lot, and the clicks are much cheaper, and
that helps actually.
And Google, there's a lot of competition, so your clicks will be more expensive. So Bing, if you want to focus for lower clicks, then you can put some money on Bing too, and put a lot of money on Google too. But then you can compare the market and see which keywords are performing good for you, or which platform is helping you out for conversions.
So branch out and use all the search engines that are out there. Absolutely. What about establishing your audience? Like, how important is it to establish your target audience? And how can it hurt you, especially as an event planner, if you don't plan accordingly? What can they do?
Targeting the audience is reaching the right customer for your business. You can select gender targeting, age targeting, income targeting, and parent targeting.
Parent targeting?
Yeah.
What's
so
that?
Parent targeting is that if you have kids, like me.
Gotcha.
So I'm a parent. So it's a parents targeting. So they have kids. So you can see if you want to focus on parents who has kids, they might go to the event where there's kids can come too.
Kid-friendly events.
Like festivals.
Or if there's age targeting where there's a music event for young generations, they can join in.
Okay.
Or that way you can decide depending on the event and pick the target market, and then
pick the right keywords.
Yeah.
In that sense too.
And you can able to select how you want to focus on the market.
Mm-hmm.
In that market, you want to focus on only young generation, or mixed generation, or all type of different variation.
Right.
From SEO standpoint, Well, first of all, let me say yes, it's important to, even before you do your keyword research, you want to know what your target audience is. But from SEO standpoint, it's difficult to control, what type of audience you're going to get a click from. Unlike pay-per-click, where you could do this demographic targeting from Google and other search engines, even Facebook, you could target the audience you want. In SEO, that's difficult. However, you could still do a lot of things like focus on your page. Maybe you want to build a page, and I'm going to use Suleman's example because I think that was a good example. One for kid
Right.
friendly. Maybe let me talk about from financial sector. Checking account for kids. And another page for checking accounts general. So now you have two pages and relevant, this content is topically focused for kids, another is focused for general audience. And now you've targeted two different pages, and Google will recognize that. Not only that, it will think you're an authority in this industry because you've got what people are searching for, and sometimes that's how you have to do in SEO. It's not like, selecting checkboxes that says only target people with this much household or only target people who have children under 18. In SEO, you'll have to think, you will have to strategize, you will have to build pages for different target audience. You have to look at the, I guess, personas.
Right.
And you will have to look at user journey. You will have to look at all those things.
Right.
And build pages for it. Content is king. I mean, I'm going to say it again. If you've done your technical SEO and you've made sure all about that, content is king. You want to make sure your content is relevant. You also want to make sure that you become authority in your content area.
Right.
Your content is very topically focused. If you have, if you do festivals or events, you want to have events planning for all related things. Event planning for wedding,
Right.
event planning for concerts, event concerts in Atlanta, concerts in 30033, concert in Buckhead, concert in Midtown. You are now very locally focused piece, and one, you're not going to have that many competitors because now you're going from nationally to even regionally. And if people are searching on a mobile device, by default Google is, they know where the search is coming from, and they will serve up a local piece of content. And if you have a piece that says concerts or events happening in Atlanta, and if someone is searching in Atlanta, things to do in Atlanta, Google will show your page, especially if it's tagged with schema tags and things like that.
Right.
So those are some tidbits.
Thank you for sharing those tidbits.
From my end.
I want to go back to the tips to rank higher.
Right. Sure.
As Sadiq said, the content is important factor. So content makes a huge difference on ranking higher, because main thing to rank higher on PPC or SEM, your quality score is very important.
Okay.
And the quality score is what Google ranks on your keywords, range from 1 to 10. And of course, 10 being the best and 1 being the below average. You have to make sure your keywords are relevant to your ads, to your website. So Google gives you quality score, and you have to make sure you're above average. If you're average, then look in your ad and make sure your ads are related to your keyword. You have to make sure that the keywords talks about your ad, and your ad talks about your website content. So when Sadiq mentioned about content makes huge difference on ranking higher on Google. And then maybe Google will not penalize you on CPC clicks, because if you have a good quality score, you're not going to pay too much for the CPC compared to having a poor quality score, and you probably may be paying more on CPC clicks.
Your average CPC could be a lot more if you have a poor quality score.
Wow.
Your competitor could be paying less per click and still ranking high, because Google has decided their content is far better. A lot more click-throughs are happening for this ad versus the other ad. So they're like, you know what? If we get less clicks from you, you're gonna pay more average CPC. And chances, why click-through is improving is one, your ad itself is good, and the second,
Right.
the content on the page is good.
So Sadiq talked about the click-through rate. Let me explain you the click-through rate. Click-through rate is the ratio of user who clicks your ad divided by impression.
Okay.
So you got to make sure your click-through rate is the percentage that is above 2% or higher. Anything 2% or less is called average or below average. And click-through rate is mostly connected to your ads. So you got to make sure your ads are relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And having a good click-through rate helps your ad to show up more often by Google or Bing or Yahoo. So it is very important to make sure your click-through rate has a good percentage.
Did you know Google went to Yahoo in its early stages and
Yes.
Yes.
tried to sell Google for what was it, 1 million?
I don't know the amount, but yes.
And
Google used to
Yahoo
run
said
Yahoo
no.
search engine at one time.
Anyway, that's a separate separate topic.
Look where Google is now.
Look where Google is now.
I do have to say about click-through, Suleman, you did give some percentages, but I bet it's different from industry to industry. Some industry may have generally a poor click-through rate. I cannot think of it right now, but it could be something like financial sector maybe having a different click-through rate versus products or consumer ones like that, and that may have a better click-through rate because people, when they search for a product, they know what they're going to buy. So if I'm searching for a tuba or piano, I'm pretty much decided. I'm in a purchasing mode.
Right.
Versus I'm searching for some financial information. I'm not sure, and I'm just looking for information, and I see this ad show up. I may click on it, and or I may not even click on it. I just go on to Wikipedia's or Investopedia's or any of those type of websites out
You're
there.
right. There's an awareness stage, and then there's the purchasing stage where
Yeah.
they're already their mindset is to purchase. They're thinking about buying something. When they're in their awareness stage, it's almost like they're just learning what's out
Yeah,
there.
just researching. So that makes sense. in a way.
But generally, I mean, those are good numbers to go by. What Suleiman gave you, I didn't even think about it. But generally, you want to be at those percentages, especially if you are selling stuff. I cannot disagree with that statement.
So I know that you guys have a consulting agency that you're helping with startups, quite a few startups already, including us. I wanted to ask if you have any upcoming updates that you would like to share with our listeners, or if you even have like a Twitter following option or any other areas where they can find you to reach out directly to you.
Well, you always can get connected on LinkedIn or
Absolutely.
Facebook or any platforms, and send us the feedback. Let us know how everything went, or you want to get an idea. We're here to help, and get
Nice.
connected with us, and we'll do our best to provide you the feedback. What do you say, Sadiq?
Yeah, and first of all, any upcoming updates? Initially, I thought you meant when you said upcoming updates. I'm thinking algorithmic updates from Google.
Please go for it. You can share that too. I was just sharing to promote your company.
Stay up to date with Google. I mean, look at your reporting on a daily basis and a weekly basis, and see what's happening to traffic, and if Google has updated something. I mean, from Panda to Penguin to Fred to regular weekly, monthly algorithm updates that they have. And I know they are going to have few more updates recently. It's difficult to tell. Most of the time it's content related. The last one that I know was actually penalty related, manual penalty related. But keep an eye on it. It's different from
Right.
sector to sector. Certain people in payday loan industry or something like that, they have to keep an even more closer eye on it, because those practices where where Google consider you loan shark, they will try to remove you or demote you over reputable companies.
Right.
So you want to keep an eye.
Yeah, and
keep an
Google
eye on
has a
it.
policy where the percentage that paid a loan or they charge, which is extremely high, therefore they don't want that type of to come in the market. So if you're a bank and if you have a percentage for the loan which is lower, yeah, you'll be there. But as for the new changes with the Google, I guess everybody has seen on Google UI user interface, which has more functionality compared to the old interface. But however, I still like the old interface look-wise because I keep switching back and forth with the old interface to the new interface. But then again, the new interface has a lot more functionalities, a lot more reporting. So take advantage and go in and
Absolutely.
learn and see what changes has happened. As for call-only ads, which Google has very limited content on the ad, but recently call-only ad made some updates where you can add now call-out extensions, structured snippets, and extensions that can help more to your content ad. And it can help to improve the click to your ad and making a phone call to your business.
Cool.
So read information, learn, and find out the way where you can improve your business.
So you guys have shared quite a bit with our listeners. Definitely very exciting information as well. Do you have any resources that we can link to our site and you can share with our members related to any of the topics we talked about today?
Sure. My Twitter handle is Sadiq Punjani.
Sorry. I should have said
Sorry, I
that
had
before.
to shameless plug over there.
No, it's not. It was my last question.
Was it? No,
It
okay.
was.
I do like for those who are who want to learn about SEO, search engine land or marketing land are very good resources. Don't forget, Google itself is a very good resource.
Google partner.
They will. You could read articles on SEO material from beginners SEO. Search engine land covers it all. Also, Moz is another one.
Okay.
Moz.org. You could go to our moz.com. I guess I forget if it's .org or .com, but M-O-Z, Moz.
Like Maz Jobrani, the comedian. No,
That's Moz, M-A-Z.
Moz,
This is
right.
Moz, M-O-Z. But
No, you
yeah.
need to do some more research.
I
on the
apparently
content.
do. I clearly don't know enough about SEO, SEM, and this whole world. But I have two brothers to help me, so thank you.
Yeah, and before I'm done, for those who are in event planning or something like that, I would highly recommend to look at schema tags. This is a very worthwhile advice. Look into schema tags. Make sure you optimize for local. If someone is searching through a mobile device and they search for things to do in Atlanta, and if you have your schema code optimized for events, Google will show you. And not only will it show the event page, but it'll say event on Saturday is this, event on Sunday is this, because you've optimized by a schedule your events. And maybe if you're a music band, then you also have specific schema tags for music. You could put your album. You could have schema tags for your tracks. You could have your profile page from Facebook or something like that tagged, your profile pages. And I don't know if anyone knows what is a knowledge graph, but it is on the right side of the Google search of a specific person. And you control that. Instead of Wikipedia showing up on the right side for your band or your album or your event, you want to have your own website show up,
course.
maybe your own profile page. and you could control that through schema.
We do a
Again,
good
it's-
job with that.
Yeah, and it's not always guaranteed. I mean, Google will decide in the end if the Wikipedia page is better than your website, and they will still serve what they think is the right thing to serve for their audience. But you could try to, have rich data markup on your pages, especially for events pages, and do that. Even if you're a music band or something, there are schema tags for that. If you're in financial industry, there are schema tags for that. If you sell products, there are schema tags for that. Like you could add ratings and reviews. Sometimes you'll see on a Google search result that has a star ratings. And you know what? If I have 10 searches, one of them has a star ratings and reviews, my eyes will naturally, even if I'm like ranking number 3, 4, or 5, will naturally flow to that position and not necessarily the first position because it looks unique from all the rest. And I want to purchase something that has high number of reviews.
Absolutely.
Because I like to read those reviews, and it tells me that a lot of people are purchasing this product. So look into schema tags and rich, but don't go overboard. Google also frowns upon that when you go overboard with, rich schema markup. So, keep a good balance.
So Stooge actually does pretty good with schema tags too, and I want to thank my brothers for that, obviously. Again, thank you both so much for joining. Remember, guys, they have helped us with our startup. They have also helped a number of other startups. Reach out to them. They're available on Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere else, and ask them your questions, or if you want help in any other way. They have a consulting agency, and they'd be more than happy to help you. Again, it has been a complete honor to work with the two of you, and thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to be on this show with me today.
Thank you so much, Noshin.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Although the event industry includes a lot of stressful work and late meetings or late events, just remember that every event you help to bring to life creates memories of a lifetime for many people out there. Did you love this episode of Plantastic Events? We'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on iTunes. Each week, we'll give a shout out to the reviewer of the week. Also, don't forget, we have resources available at stoogeapp.com. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join us next time. Goodbye. Produced by stoogeapp.com. Music by Justin Mahar.